I have really wanted a Johnny Marr signature Fender Jaguar in the finish of metallic KO, otherwise known as metallic orange, since they are first released in 2012. I'm not really a signature guitar person, although I have some. It's not something that I normally seek out. I don't buy a guitar just because it's the signature guitar of whoever the person it is that is the signature guitar for. I've never been able to afford, though, a new one of the Johnny Marr guitar or even used guitars. Some of the signature guitars that come out from Fender are like really expensive. A new guitar in this case is $2,679 and a used guitar goes for between $1,400 and $2,097 depending upon the condition. Even parts of the guitar go for a premium. Recently a loaded body, which is basically everything except for the neck, went for $1,269.99 on Stratosphere's eBay store. I've seen wiring harnesses made by folks, third party, that you can purchase online, but I'd still have to get a pair of the bare knuckle pickups if I wanted the full experience, and I don't know if the custom builds are going to sound exact or even close to the Fender made guitar, so I don't know if I'd really accomplish anything. I was on Reverb and I found a listing for the pickups, hardware, and electronics in new condition that had been pulled out of a brand new guitar, a 2023 model that had been damaged. Here's the description. This is the genuine and complete Fender Johnny Marr Jaguar loaded pickguard from a current Fender Johnny Marr signature model 2023 with white pickguard in mint condition, basically brand new, with the plastic wrap still on the pickguard. It includes the pickguard with back shield, neck, and bridge bare knuckle Johnny Marr pickups, all three control plates, the pots, jack selector switches, four-way switch knobs, and pickup selector switch diagram. I've seen pictures of Johnny Marr playing a Jaguar in the Comet Sparkle finish, my Squier Classic Vibe Gold Sparkle that I recently covered in a video. It's somewhat close in looks and color, but for me it's close enough. I decided to pull the trigger on the control panel and all the wiring, and I'd make my own Johnny Marr guitar out of my Gold Sparkle guitar. My plan was to swap out the pickups and electronics, and if I didn't like the sound or tones, I'd either put the guitar back in the original configuration or maybe I'd upgrade in another direction. I really love Johnny Marr's songwriting and guitar playing. He is a very talented musician. I'll hear songs that have been produced by bands, and then I'm really amazed at the end to find out that Johnny Marr had writing credits on those songs, and the number of songs and bands that he has worked on and with. Here's a description of his career. Johnny Marr's career spans 4 decades, beginning when he co-founded the iconic Manchester band The Smiths in 1982 with Morrissey. Marr was the guitarist and co-songwriter for the band, and his distinctive jangly guitar style became a key part of their overall sound. After the Smiths broke up in 1987, Marr embarked on a varied career collaborating with and joining numerous other bands. He was a member of Electronic, a supergroup with New Order's Bernard Sumner, and he was also a member of The, with whom he recorded 2 albums. He also performed with The Pretenders and had stints as full members of the bands Modest Mouse and The Cribs. In addition to his band work, Marr has had a prolific career as a session musician and collaborator, working with artists such as Talking Heads, The Pretenders, Brian Ferry, Pet Shop Boys, and Hans Zimmer on many movie scores. He has contributed to the film scores for movies like Inception and No Time to Die. From everything that I've read, the Fender Johnny Marr signature guitar has generally a positive reputation among players and reviewers, largely because they say that it addresses many of the common perceived quirks and flaws of the vintage-style Jaguar, while still retaining its unique character. From comments, it's often seen as a highly playable and versatile instrument. Here's what I found. Granted, I'm only experiencing the electronics and pickups. The bare knuckle pickups deliver that typical kind of Jaguar chime and jangle, but with a more balanced, less brittle or harsh sound. I think they're warmer than a typical Jaguar set of pickups. The 4-way pickup selector switch and 2 high-pass filter switches, referred to by Fender as bright switches, on the upper horn provide a huge range of sounds, from clean and jangly to something resembling kind of a humbucker. The 4-way blade switch, like a Telecaster, offers bridge, neck, parallel, and series series pickup configurations. Notes on installation of the wiring harness in a vintage style Jaguar body. Getting your grounds correct in a Jaguar is a little different than most guitars, and something you really have to pay attention to. There are 4 routed electronics cavities which are separate, and pickup chambers in the body. They are only interconnected by holes drilled, so the wires can be fed into the adjacent chamber. Without any of the wiring installed, you can use a multimeter set to ohms/continuity and test for continuity between the chambers. It's not there. You're not going to find it. You have to make sure that there's a ground wire connecting each of the chambers to the adjacent chambers, so there's a complete ground circuit throughout the guitar. If you don't do this, you will have major functionality and sound issues. Everything fit from the US signature guitar with the exception of the 4-way blade switch. 2 issues arose as I was installing it. One, the post of the wiring switch on the bottom of the switch will actually ground out to the bottom of the rounded chamber. The chamber is really not very deep. The chamber is painted with conductive shield paint for the shielding. The problem is the actual bottom poles of the switch will actually ground out to that conductive shield painting. I needed to line the bottom of the router chamber with electrical tape so the switch is then isolated from the paint. It's a simple fix. 2, I found the switch has very small wings or fins on the sides, making it for a very tight fit for the switch into the chamber. I needed to actually tap the switch lightly the first time I installed it, so it made small indentations or grooves for the fins to slide into. I, for some reason, ended up breaking the USA-made pickguard that came with the electronics that I purchased. I don't know what happened. It just happened. I ended up then using the pickguard that came with the guitar, and everything fit. In conclusion, I really like this Jaguar, the way now it sounds and it's configured. It is a Jaguar. I'm not going to get into the debate on Jaguars and Jazzmasters when they are modified like this guitar, whether or not the guitar is still a Jaguar or Jazzmaster. I've seen this in the comments and also in videos, on other channel videos. One channel that I was watching, I guess he was trying to be controversial, started out by professing that the Player 2 Jaguars and Jazzmasters, that in his definition of what the guitars are supposed to be, are not actually Jaguars and Jazzmasters. He cited that the absence of some of the circuitry caused his opinion. Well, he can have any opinion that he wants. That's cool. I don't really care. But I disagree. The guitars are just a variation on the original design. To be honest, if they were not variations like the Player 2 guitars and the Johnny Marr signature, and everything was always exactly like the original, life would be pretty boring. Let me know what you think on this subject as well, as what do you think about the Johnny Marr circuit and pickups that I installed on the guitar.